Okay, let's keep it simple. We'll just do it by the numbers. Okay. Strangely, the E position in the cage system, all right, has the root, and that's, everybody plays that E from the root, But did you know, if you playing that, let's say we're doing in the key of C up here, it'd be, so it's root 2 3 there. Now the D position is 2 3 4 2 3 5 6 root 2. The E position is 3 5 6 root 2 3. Okay, the A position is 5 6 root 2 3 5. So they're inversions of a pentatonic scale. Those are what the pentatonic scale positions are. That's all I was trying to explain there. So let's get back to what we were talking about here. Let's look at the chart in general. What do we have down here? Let's not miss out on some of this stuff. This is basic. We have here the modal cage, E root, D2, C3, C4, A5, G6, E7, and E root. These are the modal cages, and these are the string shapes. First three notes, modal scale, string shape. Reference to the parent key of root 2 3. So we're not going to take Phrygian and call it root 2 3. But if you want to count a Phrygian scale, you can play that 3 4 5. Instead of going 3 4 5 6 7 root 2 3, you can just count root 2 3 4 5 6 7 root, and you've played a Phrygian scale with its particular count. So these are the string shapes, and they have to be lined up. So when you get to 7 root 2, you have to move it over 1 so the 2 lines up directly with that 6, unless you hit the tuning warp between the G and the B string, and then you have to move the whole thing over 1, right? Over 1 fret for the last 2 strings, the top 2 strings. Okay, what else we have on this chart here? So that's all that's explaining that these are the modals. These are the first 3 notes of those modal scales. Modal cage, we have a cage circle that goes around here. C3 goes to G6, goes to D2. Let's play that. Right here, C3, 3 4 5 goes to G6, 6 7 root. Goes to D2, 2 3 4, goes to A5, 5 6 7. Now we're going to do play away. Goes to E root, root 2 3, play away. We played out of the modal cage, and we're going forward almost to the next cage shape. So if we started in C, okay, by the time we get 6 strings, we're going to be in what? In the word caged. C goes to A, we're going to end on the A shape. Okay, so here it goes. String 1, string 2, string 3, string 4, string 5, and string 6. Well, guess what? We didn't end on the A shape, but what do we got right there? Aha! Very close. Very close to it. So let's see that. 3 4 5 6 7 root 2 3 4 5 6 7 root 2 3 4 5 6. Right there is our traditional short A cage. A shape, action fingers. So it was there, but it was part of the C4 modal box because it's a short shape. Short shapes are part of long modal boxes. That's why what preserves the traditional cage system is encompassed by, it's part of the modal systems that I'm working on. And here's our pattern stack, same thing, just showing a little bit more how we have to, this is P4, so it's like all fourths tuning, like a bass or something like that. It's all fourths. There's no tuning third between the G and the B string, okay? So you have to put that tuning third in, but we don't know where that 4th to 5th string is. If you start here, it's 1 2 3 4, to 5, so the 2 would have to go over 1. So it would be 2, 3, 4 kind of thing. It would be over 1. You don't know where that tuning warp's going to be. That's why it's not shown in the pattern. Regular old caged, we got E7 is 7 root 2, C3 3 4 5, G6 6 7 root. Okay, and we have the root chord kind of hiding in there, but I wanted to show you that traditionally with the tripentatonic E box, we can't do that pentatonic from the open position, because if this is the fret nut, we can't get these guys here. So we have to do the long root 2, 3, 5, 6, or do the 7 from over here. So we just finger bar here to do the root 2, or we just arpeggiate root 2, 3, 5, 6, root 2, 3, 5, 6, root 2. So that works. That's why it's good for leads and stuff like that. So let's look at our G box after all. Okay, so here's our G box, but we want to, if we're going to cut something out, okay, we want to get everything. We want to get a couple of extra notes there. Alright, right there. And now I have to kind of, I wish I could move it over, but I can't. Well, just let's look at this for a minute. We got, of course, we got a G shape, root 3 5. Okay, root chord, root 3 5, root 3 5, root G triad arpeggio right there. If I start on A as the 6th, I've got my G shaped C as the root. Okay, it's going to be an E minor shaped 6. Now you know, one past the G shape, CAGED, is E, so it's going to be right there. So it's, of course you want to go to the 4th. What's the 4th of G? It's the C shape. 5th of G is the D shape. Okay, what's the relative of that C again? Of that G rather. So that's the 6th. So we're looking at it. There's its 6, G shape, E minor shape 6. Let's look a little closer at that. G shape root 3 5, E minor shape 3 6 root shares this 2 of those notes, right? We've got root 3 5, and now we've got E minor shape is 3 6 root instead of 3 5 root. That's all. The difference between a major and a minor, root 3 5, is just a 6th chord. So a 6th chord is a first inversion relative 6th chord. So let's go to the 4th, a C shape 4th, root 4 6, root 4 6. There's your 4th. Advance the letter cage in cage. C goes to A minor. We've got 6 2 4 right there. Does it play? We've got the capo right there. 6 2 4. Yes, that will play because we've got 2 down here and 6 down here, and so that'll play. We're gonna make sure it plays. And then the D shape 5th 2 5 7. Advance D1, and you get a C, not an A. What happened? Because 2 5 7, if we want a C shape, if we have 2 5 7 there, what we've really got is 5 7 2. Okay, so 2 5 7, we want to raise that 2 to a 3 for its relative minor. So it's going to be 3 5 7, or in second inversion 7 3 5. Are we going to advance a cage letter in that? We need 7 3 5 7. Did we get it? No, because this 7 is not part of the G cage. That's why I included that. I saw that 7 and I was like, should I include it? So we go 1 caged advance from that C to an A minor shaped, and we've got 3 Where's our A minor shape there? Okay, we're back. So we're looking at our D-shaped fifth here, D-A, 2, 5, 7. Okay, its relative sixth, if we're playing the fifth, its relative sixth is the 3 minor. If we're in the D shape, 2, 5, 7 right there, advance the caged letter to the next caged word, C-A-G-E-D, to C. But the C we can't get 7, 3, 5 because we can't get this 7 because it's not part of the cage. So we advance that C to an A again, and we get the A minor shaped 7, 3, 5 right there. 7, 3, 5, A minor shape. That's shape fitting now. Okay, we've got shape fitting within the G cage. Then we go to the, well, we just did the D shape, and we did that. Alright, so then the E, how do we get the E half diminished shaped? Okay, we've got 5 root 3 E here, root here, so we're going to go to the 7 minor and then drop the fifth right there. That's how we get the E shape. There's your E shape root. So it's E minor shape would be 6, 7, D would be, let's see, our E shape root, our root is actually 5 root 3 right there. Okay, so we're going to drop that a half step to the 7. We get a B minor in the key of C, C7 D. We're going to take the minor, so we got C7 2 rather. That was B major. Here's B minor, and then B half diminished, that kind of thing. So that's how we get E-shaped half diminished. Here's your E-shaped 5 root 3. Here's your E minor shaped half diminished 4, 7, 2 right there. So that's how I write that. Now I check it. We got to check it. So in the G box, we're starting on 6. It's our Aeolian box. In its relative, okay, so in the Aeolian box, relative, the box would play like this. That's play away, or the short pattern. Okay, or with the cutout. Sorry about that. And that's with the cutout, but we're more concerned with the bottom part right now. Okay, so if we reassign root as the 6, it would be root 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the root is going to be the 6 minor, the 4th is going to be the 2nd minor, and the 5th is going to be the 3rd minor. So that's where we have an E minor shaped 6th. Okay, so that's 3, 6 root right there. 3, 6 root. Okay, that's an E minor shaped A minor in the key of C, 3, 6 root. We have in the G box still an A minor shaped 2nd, 6, 2, 4. And we have in the E box, same thing, A minor shaped 3rd. Okay, is going to be 7, 3, 5 right there. So 2, 4, 6 is the 2nd, 7, 3, 5, all in the G box there. This isn't part of the G box. I just showed it in case we had to go up one cage position, then down again for the E0. So this checks. The 6th is the E shape right there, little e, little e. The 2nd is A minor shape right there. Right there, our little A minor shape, 2nd minor. And the 3rd is also A minor shape right there. So they check. Hey, that's all we got time for today. It's been a good lesson. It's been kind of tough. We'll be working more on these subjects in the future. And have a good day.